Spacey Sims, and we are back with more London Detective Mysteria in Akechi's route. And I accidentally clicked the next button. So we skipped the first line. That's my bad. So technically what we should be reading right now is our ship made its way across the Mediterranean through the Suez Canal and began its southward journey across the length of the Red Sea. Before the canal was completed, ships in transit to India or Asia had to round the southern tip of the African continent. I'm just assuming. Okay. However, its opening heralded a new age of travel, cutting a great deal of time from the trip between England and the Orient. Again, is it because where there is too narrow to turn the ship around? Because how are they like la 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 la? We can't turn around until we get to India. I'm. That's almost where you're going. I mean, you can, but you haven't even, but you can, you, can't, I'm just thinking here. You can make it all the way over there, but you can't turn around and go, but you don't have enough to turn around and go back, but you have enough to make it to India? I'm just saying, this just doesn't seem very but come on, dude. Anyway. Did I read that? Blah, blah, blah. New age of between England and the Orient. Anyway. Eventually, we crossed into the Arabian Sea and sailed eastward toward the trading hub of Bombay. So this is India, the birthplace of curry and rice, isn't it? I saw it all the time back in London. It isn't just curries India's known for. The tea grown here is renowned the world over. Darjeeling, Assam, and Nilgiri tea, among others, come from the hills of India. The former British East India Company used to have a branch in Japan, too, in the city of Hirado. In a sense, India is a vital nexus of trade and transit that connects English and East Asia. English! I just want to... English! The way it's spelled is so weird. Anyway. At any rate, we need to deliver Porlock and his men to the authorities here. We may have them locked away, but we can't afford to let our guard down. Again, I don't know how you made it to fucking India, but you couldn't turn the boat around. You weren't halfway there by the time... I mean, were they? It just made it seem like, okay, they got on the ship the night that they sailed, and then they were, what, imprisoned for, like, a week? Like, how long? The ship is fast is all I'm saying. I just don't think a boat trip from, like, England to fucking India is like, it's only like 3 days. I'm just thinking, I don't think that's, I'm just not feeling that, yo. So, anyway. Alright, I caught his subordinates fighting through the bars of their cells yesterday. And the captain and the ship's crew all seem rather on edge, too. For what reason, I don't know. They're being threatened by fucking Pendleton, is my guess, that's all I'm saying. With any luck, the police here may be able to uncover some information about the organization Porlock and Dejar belong to. Now safely docked in the port, we went to prepare Porlock and his motley band for their transfer to the Indian authorities. However, we were soon to discover that such a handover would prove impossible. Who could have done this? We found them dead to a man still in their cells. Okay, it can't be Pendleton. Pendleton wouldn't do that. They've all been shot with a gun. The question is how? We made sure to take all their weapons from them. According to your account... How did Ryan get in India? Wait, what the fuck? How? How did he magic him? Is he a fucking wizard? How did he get to fucking... We're supposedly in India. How did Ryan get to India? And why is his name Ryas? Is he supposed to be the Indian version and they just... I'm not falling for that. Okay, I'm just saying. He's like the Indian Ryan, but his name is Ryas. That's it. But they just use the same thing, the guy, and we didn't even get a new little like sprite guy. No. What? This makes no sense. The anti-logic in this one is killing me right now. Like, I can't. No! We don't have enough to turn around. What? Because we're already. All right, so maybe the timeline is off. Maybe in my head, I'm like, it's only been a couple days. It's like, well, it's been a lot longer than that. Okay. All right, you shouldn't have been halfway across the. Okay, sure. But how the fuck did Ryan get there? Do they have a fucking speedboat? How the fuck? I mean, you could say that Pendleton or something was like, oh yes, they boarded the ship and they're blah, blah, and then they got on a boat and chased them down. But they could, you know what I'm saying? Like just magically turned up in India like the same exact, like a day later. Like, but I'm just saying, how did he get here? They're probably going to explain it. But if they don't, anyway. According to your account, the ship was carrying people who had been abducted by these men, correct? And said victims were both drugged and mistreated. Which means that the captors hadn't exactly endeared themselves to their captives, but they were children. Perhaps it's not my place to say, as an officer of the law, but I can't help but think they got what they deserved in the end. And I mean, or I'm sorry, this is Ryan's twin brother who happens to live in India. That's what it is, I'm sure, because he's Rias. That's such a fucking typo. This may seem a strange question, Inspector, but have we met somewhere before? You seem oddly familiar to me somehow, and I can't quite put my finger on it. So his name is really supposed to be Rias, but it's Ryan. It's fucking Ryan. Okay. All right. Okay. He's the one. Okay. Whatever. I don't know. I don't know what's happening here. Like, this is so shady. There's some shady shit going on right now anyway. No, I'm quite certain this meeting is our first. You'd be surprised how often I hear that, though. People telling me I remind them of this or that person. You're not wrong, Spacey. He looks a mite familiar to me, too. Well, it's commonly said that everyone has at least 3 people in the world who resemble him to a remarkable degree. And there must be several other young men out there burning with the same justice that goads me daily onward and look just like you, and he just happens to you're the Indian version of Ryan, but you look just as fucking white as Ryan is all I'm saying. Could you imagine if they just made an Indian character that looked like Ryan? You're like, he looks exactly like Ryan, but like a different ethnicity. Like, it's totally different. Like, that's kind of weird. You're like, wait a minute. You have a twin on the... But literally, this is fucking Ryan pretending to not be. It's weird. Good grief. That just doubled the sense of deja vu. Now, the city of Bombay is a major trading center, and in a city this bustling, bringing the hammer down on illegal business dealings is the prime task of its police force. Lately, we've had a rash of children of unknown origin being forced into illegal labor. It's becoming a vexing problem here in the city. Or, like, literally, it's not actually Ryan at all. And he literally just has a doppelganger. That's fucking weird. You know what it is? They were like, we don't really feel like drawing a whole other dude. So can we just use Ryan and change it to Rias and we'll just pretend he's different? Won't somebody notice and wonder how the hell Ryan got there? Well, again, we'll change his name to Rias. They'll just think it's a typo because Tim's an asshole and we let Tim type shit. Yeah. But we'll explain away that it's not. I'm just one must be a doppelganger, whatever, and then it'll be cool. That's really what happened. I'm just guessing then. If this isn't Ryan pretending not to be Ryan, this is literally just the developers being lazy and not just at least, changing his hair. You could just change his fucking hair color. I don't know. Made him actually look like he's Indian. I'm just saying. Anyway. But I shall take full responsibility in ensuring that each and every one of the children aboard your ship are put back on a vessel headed to England. Thank you ever so much. We should also be on that ship, but... Well. A short distance away stood Akechi, puzzling through the details of the seemingly impossible murders. Each of them died instantly from a single bullet through the head, and the killer would have had to possess considerable proficiency with firearms to be capable of such a feat. I mean, Pendleton is. Besides the 3 of us, Porlock and his men, and the ship's crew, there was the man who returned Kobayashi's tools to him. Could he have been the one to... What's the matter, Akechi? Oh, nothing much. Just mulling over a few loose ends. But in the end, the identity of the assassin remained a mystery, and we handed over the bodies, the ship's crew, and custody of the children to the police in Bombay. Oh my god, if it was Pendleton. If Pendleton is magically here, like, I raced on a ship after you to get here, I'm gonna be like, he was on the ship with us. Hey, Keiichi, I just recently happened to remember something that I wanted to ask you about. Are we in a rowboat now? We're back on the ocean, but... Oh, what might that be? Before we left to rescue Spacey from that warren beneath the church, there was a letter that arrived from Japan addressed to the Academy. The one Mr. Mackenzie handed you. As I recall, it contained news about an ambassador from a major nation who was attacked while visiting Japan, or something to that effect. I know the one you're referring to. I haven't forgotten about it. Keiichi paused a moment before answering. Fortunately, the ambassador pulled through, but the attempted assassination of an ambassador is still a significant, and not to mention regrettable, incident for our homeland. It carries with it also a real risk of being seen as an international incident, and, as such, needs to be investigated with the utmost care. I'm glad the attempt on the ambassador's life proved unsuccessful. It really just gives a spark. Gives a stark. But it really gives a stark impression of how great a distaste many of our countrymen have towards foreigners. I'm guessing that wasn't all that was written in the letter. What else did it say? It lays out that the Metropolitan Police Department are no exception to the aforementioned xenophobia, and that they're also opposed to foreigners entering the country as well. The letter stated that in order for the investigation to be conducted in a fair and impartial manner, the assistance of reliable sources with great insight on the outside world will be required. And as such, we've been summoned to return to Japan. I had a feeling something like that might happen. Kobayashi sighed, knowing that he and Akechi had little to say in the matter. Oh! Akechi and Kobayashi died at sea. That's disappointing. They're like, what is shh? They died at sea. Smile and nod. These are my friends, Tom and Bob. What? It's funny that you think they look Japanese. They're totally fucking English. 100%. Never even said fun Japan. Nope, never. You're gonna argue with me, buddy? I'm just saying, I'm helping them create a cover story for why they don't have to go back. Anyway. How would they know? We'll just be like, you were part of the murdered people and you're dead. How about that? What are they gonna do? They want your body back? Whoop! Ship sunk. It's a ship on sea. The sea is she's a dangerous mistress. I'm just saying. Still, the situation must be rather serious for them to call us home before a term of study is over. Yes, it's not difficult to imagine that being the case. And this incident may have a profound effect on Japan's growing diplomatic relations with foreign nations. And unless you forget, it was national funding that allowed us to travel abroad to study in England to begin with. So if our homeland has need of us, we must answer that call. If we manage to help sort out an international incident, why, even your master might rethink his opinion of you. I wouldn't hold my breath on that. Akechi cast his gaze downward, his lack of confidence palpable. Still, if we need to go home, wouldn't it be faster to simply continue on to Japan from here? India is the door to Asia after all, and trading ships from Japan frequently make port here. You have a point. But that leaves the matter of Spacey. I can only imagine how much she would like to return home. Greatly, given the ordeal she's been through. Spacey, I'm with you, let's go! Woohoo! Sounds fun. Really? We get to go to Japan with a guy who actually speaks Japanese, so I don't have to worry about the fact that I have very, very, very few things that I can actually say in Japanese. Okay, meet real Spacey. She knows nothing. So I'm just saying, sounds like a grand time. Let's go. Onward to Japan! We're already here. Might as well go. Close enough. Let's go. But you don't wish to be apart from her, even for a brief time, do you? Yes, I must confess she is still in my heart. Is the dramatic response you're angling for, isn't it? Why ever would I admit such a thing to you? Oh, am I wrong then? Kobayashi's eyes were wide with interest, but the same energy was nowhere to be found in Akechi's reply. Unlike the two of us, she has many friends and relations in English awaiting for her safe return. Why would she not hope to be reunited with them as soon as possible? 'Cause adventure. But you're just assuming that to be the case, though. Why not simply ask her what she'd like to do? It's not hard to foresee the answer. Even if I were to ask, all I would hear is her desire to return home. It's not wise to assume too much, though. Imagine if you asked her to accompany you to Japan, She might smile and nod the affirmative. She might even throw her arms around you in a passionate embrace. Oh, Kobayashi, you're so wise. Why did you suddenly jump from nods to passionate embraces? Well, she's got a surprisingly bold side to her, after all. I don't think there are many ladies out there who would press themselves against a heavily wounded man, especially when that man is you. Sorry, this statement is so funny. Just the first part. I don't think there's many ladies who would willingly press themselves against a heavily wounded man. Point. Yeah, I mean, okay. Especially when it's you. Yeah, so I mean, you should... So insulting. Oh. Well, pardon me for being myself. Well, kidding aside, I really think that, given the situation, you ought to go and ask her in person. Both of you have the same problem, you see. Each of you always thinks more about the other than about their own self. So in uncertain times like this, it falls to you to be a man and take the initiative. Kobayashi. And if she ends up rebuffing your affections, I shall be right here to comfort and console you. I'll be fine, thank you. No, you won't. You'll be crushed and broken. You only say you'll be fine because you know I'm gonna be like, woohoo! And so several days passed. Arrangements had been made for the children to return to England aboard a trading vessel headed for London. Under the circumstances, one would expect me to join them on that same ship. However, I was still uncertain as to what I should do. Akechi and Kobayashi will be returning to Japan to assist with the investigation of an international incident. But where does that leave me? What should I do? Should I return to England? I'm afraid I cannot recommend that you actually travel to Japan. I felt myself recalling what Akechi had once said to me with a twinge of pain in my chest. I mean, I'm already here! I'm so close! I don't wish to trouble Akechi with my selfish desires. If telling him that I wish to join him on his journey would only cause him trouble, it would perhaps be for the best to simply say goodbye with a smile on my face. I turned toward him, a maelstrom of emotions whirling within my heart. He was kneeling there so that he might see the children face to face. They looked back at him quietly, gazes filled with confusion. I was born and raised in a country very different from yours. And the time I've spent in your homeland is far shorter than the lives you've lived there. But even so, and perhaps all the more because of it, I feel that your country is a truly wonderful place. A certain serenity seemed to settle over Akechi's features as he spoke. I can think of no country more progressive, more alive with culture, and home to more women both strong and kind. I'm genuinely glad I was granted the opportunity to visit from far across the sea, and to have been given the chance to learn there. And so please, hold high your heads and be proud of the country in which you were born. And do not forget that your nation, whose memories I will ever cherish, needs your energy and your smiles to keep it strong. All of that might seem a bit difficult to take in, but did you understand what I said? The children nodded and shook their heads. No, you were speaking in Japanese! We don't speak Japanese. I'm just kidding. Some were slow to signal their affirmation, while others reacted with far more forcefulness. It reassures me to see that. He then went around, placing his hand on the head of each of the children one by one. Each reacted in a different way. From some he elicited surprise, while others seemed altogether uncertain how to respond to such a gesture. By the time he had withdrawn his hand, each wore a smile, even if shyly and tentatively. He really is quite good when it comes to looking after others. As I looked on, I couldn't help but think back to the time when he had tousled young Rick's hair in the same manner as now. In that moment, I completely understood how that child must have felt, constantly chasing Akechi, desiring fervently to become his pupil. But while Rick was able to chase after him without pausing to worry whether Akechi might find his actions bothersome, giving heed only to his own desires, I was unable to. I would never want to cause him trouble or be a burden, but even so, if he were to tell me plainly he wanted me to come with him, even just that, every doubt would vanish. Surely he must realize at least that. So why does he remain silent? Instinctively, I squeezed my eyes tightly shut, sealing up the tears that threatened to flow forth. But even were time to stop for me in my sadness, it would continue its march for others. Spacey... Huh? I opened my eyes and found Akechi standing there before me. Akechi! A flash of embarrassment took hold of me, and my first thought was to immediately excuse myself. Please wait. He gently took hold of my arm as though to calm my fears. As much as it embarrasses me to admit, these past few days I've thought of nothing but you. Although, perhaps it's more appropriate to say that I've done nothing but worry over you instead. You were worried? About whether I ought to see you off on your return to English with a smile or tell you of my own thoughts, selfish though they may be. At his words, my heart fairly skipped a beat. Under ordinary circumstances, we'd wish each other well and part ways here, each setting out to our own destination. But I finally come to realize that I cannot find it in me to want that. I cannot wish you well, knowing that we'll be a world away. I felt the firmness of his grip on my arm, that at his words it tightened ever so slightly. Akechi? Spacey, if you have any desire, even the slightest wish, to remain by my side, then come to Japan with... She's not gonna lie. Pendleton was on board the whole motherfucking time. He fucking was. He's like, I'm just gonna hide for a couple of days, and then I'm gonna pop out and be like, oh, I just got here. Bullshit! You've been hiding on this ship, you motherfucker! But I can't believe he killed all these people. Pendleton! I mean, he's a sniper, no motherfucking doubt, but I'm just saying, my lady! I missed you, Pendleton. She's like, fuck. Was that just my imagination? That sounded like... But just as I began to doubt my own ears, I heard it again. My lady, are you alright? Am I hearing things? That voice sounds strangely familiar. Kobayashi's puzzlement and Akechi's expression confirmed that I hadn't been the only one to hear the voice that had called out to me. I finally managed to reach you. It's been quite the ordeal making it from London to India, I assure you. I somehow doubt that. I still think he's the fucking one that was on here. And maybe he wasn't, but I'm just saying, I have my suspicions. It pleases me greatly to see you in good spirits, my lady. Pendleton? My surprise at seeing him strolling down the deck toward me could not have escaped anyone's notice. Pendleton? When did you get here? How did you even get here? Do you honestly hold my abilities in such low esteem, my lady? I'm your faithful butler, you know. I simply predicted the course of the ship that had taken you away and followed you via an overland route. A simple enough task. Bull fucking shit, you've been on this ship the whole time. By land? You've got to be joking. How rude. I would never hide the truth from Lady Spacey. Still, I'm amazed you were able to make the journey. He's like, I run fast, bitch. The friends who will come to your aid in your honor are of need... In your hour of need. Well, friends who will come to your aid in your hour of need are one of life's greatest treasures. Are they not? Although we found Pendleton's story to strain all credibility, I mean, it's either that or he's a magic elfin prince and he just poofed himself here. I'm just saying. Pretty sure he's been on the ship and he killed all those motherfuckers. Now, there was no doubting that it was indeed he who stood there before us. Still, I can scarcely believe Akechi and Kobayashi are here as well. I never imagined they would actually go so far as to sneak aboard the ship where you were being held. I'm more amazed that you can lie with such a straight face, given that you most certainly aided us from the shadows. Oh? Whatever are you talking about? I was just musing that English butlers may well be as resourceful and able as the shinobi of Japan. Surely you overestimate my abilities, Akechi. I'm just your standard highly capable butler. It's just one hell of a butler. Oh, God! Japanese butlers are just magical. I know he's an English butler, but I'm just saying Japanese people just imagine English butlers as being fucking magical. Can I just... 2 for 2. I mean, just a standard and yet highly capable. Is it just me, or does there seem to be some disagreeable circumstance between the two of them? Did something happen while I was being held prisoner beneath the church? Oh, my lady, I feel the climate here will not be good for your skin. We should make our return to England at once. What, like the sun? But... If you would excuse me, Pendleton. Oh! Suddenly, Akechi took hold of my arm. I have something I feel I must say. Would you kindly stop trying to take her away right in front of me? Akechi? Come now! There's no need to lay your failings upon me, Akechi. Rather than spending so long ruminating on it, you should have just come out and asked her. Akechi's like, I've been hiding here for days, you motherfuckers. Says the one who deliberately waited until the last convenient moment possible to make his appearance. You're quite the piece of work, Pendleton. I fucking love them right now. Oh, I thank you. Incidentally, might I inquire as to when you began calling Lady Spacey by her given name? I'll call her whatever I please, thank you. This bitch fight is happening and I love it. Oh my god, I love this so fucking hard. I love this sandwich that we're in. I just love this. I just want to squeeze myself in between the two of them. I love you both. And that is your right, of course. However, people do not often change the form by which they addressed another so long after being introduced. And that leads me to wonder what might have happened between the two of you to bring about such a shift. I feel under no obligation to provide any answer to that. The words they exchanged on the surface seemed restrained, polite, and calm. But the looks in their eyes as they glared at each other seemed unusually frosty. Wow, I have to hand it to both of them. I don't think I've ever seen a conversation more difficult to join in than this one. Although I shared Kobayashi's timely sentiment, I knew I couldn't let Akechi and Pendleton continue staring each other down. Would the two of you be so kind as to stop scowling at one another? At any rate, Lady Spacey will be returning to London with me. No, she will not. What? Akechi pulled me close to him. Because it's my intention to bring her to Japan with me, and I shan't be dissuaded. I swear that whatever may transpire there, I will guard her and defend her. As such, I'll not allow you to ferry her off back to London, if you insist on trying, Pendleton. And then you'll have to best me in a duel first, and I promise you I will not lose. Yeah, I don't think Pendleton will either. Akechi was now gazing straight on at Pendleton, with no hesitation of any sort visible in his bearing. Akechi... Spacey, ordinarily I would ask your opinion before issuing such a declaration, and for the trouble I'm undoubtedly causing you, I apologize. But the truth of the matter is, I want to stay with you. I don't want to let you go. His attention turned to me. I realize that what I'm asking of you is the height of selfishness, but would you be willing to grant this one wish of mine? The iron of the gaze he shone Pendleton had melted away, and in his eyes I saw gentle kindness and even a trace of nervousness. It felt as though he was showing his own weakness to me, and my chest tightened at the thought. And in that moment, I knew I wanted to go with him. The wish he had held to be so selfish was, in fact, the self-same wish I harbored. If you're selfish, Akechi, then I am even more so. I want to see your homeland with my own eyes. I want to help you solve the incident that hangs over it like a storm cloud. I want to try the onigiri in Monaka that Kobayashi told me about and witness the changing of Japan's 4 seasons. I want to come to Japan with you, Akechi. This is like literally like yes! I'm right here with you! Oh, but you get to go and I gotta sit here in my... Oh. Thank you, Spacey. Only then did I realize how nervous Akechi must have been about asking me, for I saw relief spread over his face and through his posture. Way to go, Akechi! My predictions of a passionate embrace may have been off, but all's well that ends well, I say. And seeing your desire to sail halfway across the globe to expand your horizons and learn more of the world gladdens me as well. Pendleton, then you consent? He's like, but I'm coming with you. No, I still won't allow it. What? But why? How can you refuse after all that? Our motives are impure, and that's all the reason I need. What exactly is impure about my motives? And then Akechi is the main reason for your sudden desire to travel abroad. Must you really be such a stickler, Pendleton? Your desire to go together with Akechi is the entire point of it. I want to visit Japan because it's the land in which Akechi was born and raised, and I shan't budge on that point. So much had happened that I wasn't about to give in, even if it meant arguing with Pendleton. You're like, besides, we're almost fucking there. Stupid to turn, like, I will turn this car around, Missy. I will turn this boat around. Yeah, and it's 3 times longer to go back than it is to go forward. I'm just saying. Pendleton, I will wait for as much time as you may require, so kindly prepare a weapon of your own choosing. Akechi, what are you doing? He released my arm, and to my surprise, his hand immediately hovered above the pommel of his katana. Please step back, Spacey. This may prove dangerous. I can't let you kill Pendleton. I love you, but also super love Pendleton. Just saying. But you can't. Ah, so it's to be decided through about a valorous valorous combat, is it? Oh, God. Ahem, valorous combat, is it? Very well. If Spacey yourself is on the line, I'll gladly meet your challenge. As a disturbingly cheerful smile spread across his face, Pendleton reached into his jacket. Likewise, if this bout will decide Spacey's destination, I shall emerge victorious, even if it means going down with you. Now see here! Stop this, both of you! You shouldn't be fighting! You have it wrong, Spacey. This is no mere fight. If it were, I wouldn't be willing to stake my life on it. His unflinching confrontation of Pendleton made clear that he meant every word he said. That's even worse! Sheath your sword, Akechi! As much affection as I feel towards you, I have no love for aggressive men who are quick to fight. What? Akechi, you need to decide whether to be depressed or embarrassed, because it's gotten exasperatingly shameful watching you attempt to be both simultaneously. Goodness! It beggars belief that you were rattled by so simple a thing. Pendleton? Holy shit! Told you Pendleton was shooting people. Before I could move to stop him, Pendleton had pointed his gun at Akechi. But if your determination is true, then show here and now the proof of your resolve. Look at how fucking... Look at his face! Look at that, you normally Pendleton. Look at that face. He is like, I will fuck you up. Like, oh my god. I love Pendleton so much. Why is there no Pendleton route? Why? Oh my god, if there is a second game, they need to give me a Pendleton route. That needs to be like the true route. You just end up with Pendleton. Thank you! I mean, oh my god, he deserves so much better than us. I'm just saying. We just forsake him for all these boys. Don't get me wrong, I love the boys, but Pendleton, still number one. Wait! I was stunned into speechlessness as the sound of a gunshot rang across the deck. Pendleton? Wow, Pendleton, this is just... Unflinching, unmoving, Akechi's glare toward Pendleton remained steady. Why did you make no attempt to avoid my shot? I felt from you the same tension I feel in those who brandish a weapon, but I sense no killing intent behind it. If I were to lash out against your provocation here, I'd prove myself entirely unfit to safeguard her. The bullet Pendleton had fired was lodged in the wooden planks of the deck. I see. You rightly discerned that much, yet your desire to protect her never wavered. I suppose there's no helping it then. I shall award you a passing grade this time. It looks like I can safely leave Lady Spacey in your care after all. Pendleton nodded, putting away his gun. But Pendleton, I can't believe you would seriously turn your gun on him! I did so for your sake, my lady. Still, do not forget that there are many who eagerly await your return in London, and mysteries left unsolved. I shall look forward to seeing you a more learned and discovering young woman upon your return. A discerning young woman upon your return. Wow. On your return. Wow. Also, why the fuck isn't Pendleton staying? Oh, somebody's got to take care of the house. Okay. He smiled softly at me. This is the hardest part, is leaving Pendleton behind. Because literally in every other path we get to keep Pendleton. But now we're like, bye Pendleton. Wait, you can't come with me too? Oh. Ever ready to chide me for my errors as he was, Pendleton also never failed to consider my feelings, and I was filled with a profound thankfulness for both aspects of the man. Again, this is why you fall in love with Pendleton. Of course. Thank you, Pendleton. As for you, Akechi, if I should find that you've done anything to cause her even the slightest distress, you can be assured I'll take her back with me to England at once. Understood. Oh, Akechi took me in his arms as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Rest assured, I would never dream of doing any such thing. Akechi? The warmth of my happiness mingled with my embarrassment, and before I knew it, I was blushing, uncertain whether to fix my gaze on him or the floor. Once it had been decided that I would be traveling to Japan, I decided before my departure to pay a visit to an old friend of my parents who had taken up residency in Bombay. Upon learning of my parentage, he welcomed me into his home with open arms. I came to learn that he had moved to India before my birth and had not been back to England for quite some time. He seemed fascinated to hear me tell of modern England and that I was attending school. And so he simply gave you all those supplies for the journey, and even went so far as to furnish skilled sailors for the ship? Generosity barely begins to cover it. He even gave us some tea and oranges to enjoy during the passage to Japan. It seems birds of a feather truly do flock together, as the saying goes. Your parents' friends are upstanding people. The bonds that tie people together can never be completely severed. Quite right, although it takes an oddly literal connotation when put that way by someone with a sword hanging at his waist. At this rate, the ship ought to be ready to sail tomorrow. My lady, I feel it pertinent to mention that lengthy journeys by sea put more strain on your body than you may realize. Be sure to head to your cabin and sleep early tonight. Just me? What about everyone else? Akechi and Kobayashi are well accustomed to ships, and naturally, I am as well. But it feels wrong for me to be the only one to turn in early. Pendleton is correct. I am well aware that you're not prone to travel sickness, but few things are more concerning than fatigue that is built up within, invisible to the naked eye. So, both for your sake and ours, please get some rest. All right then. Accepting at last, I walked away with Pendleton at my side to do as I was advised. Are you sure you're all right with that, Akechi? If I hadn't insisted, she would have overexerted herself. That's very considerate of you to say, but it's obvious you wanted to spend more time with her. I cannot deny it. That's precisely why I need time apart to cool my head, so that I'm not thinking only of what I want. Goodness, you really have fallen hard for her, haven't you? Is there a problem with that? I won't let you weasel out of admitting it, Akechi. No matter how long I lay on my bed, sleep seemed to elude me. This isn't like me. Most nights I plunge into a deep sleep as soon as my head touches the pillow. Lying there, my thoughts couldn't help but drift to the journey to Japan on which I was soon to embark, and to Akechi. Drat! Not only can I not sleep, I cannot even relax now. It had been Akechi who encouraged me to get to bed early. Yet as those thoughts played out within my mind, I couldn't help but recall that his usually calm expression had an air of loneliness to it this night. Perhaps feeling the breeze on deck would help relax me and lull me to sleep. Quietly, I stepped out of my cabin. It's strange how the moon and stars seem so much larger out here. It may be due to how bright they appear. I'm sure that if a shooting star would race its way across the sky, I would notice it right away. Once I reached the deck, I slowly walked toward the bow of the ship, gazing up at the sky, but I stopped short at what I saw. Akechi and Pendleton making out, because I'm just okay with that. Akechi and Pendleton in a passionate embrace. What, I ship it, I'm sorry. If there were a shooting star, I wonder what wish I would make upon it. There stood Akechi, gazing out at the faraway stars alone. It was a captivating sight. His silvery hair, illuminated in the light of the moon, swayed gently in the sea breeze. His gaze, powerful and piercing when directed at others, was pointed out toward the night sky above and the dark waves below. What was he thinking, I wondered? What sights and memories were playing before his own eyes? Is he thinking about Japan? He's thinking about you, Jesus. Although my first impulse was to call out to him, I found myself hesitating. But as fortune would have it, he turned to see me there. Spacey, I thought you had already gone to sleep. I could only assume he had somehow sensed my presence, for I had been quiet as a mouse. I tried, but I just couldn't relax. It's strange. Usually I fall asleep almost instantly. You sound like a child the night before a school trip. You strike me as the type who got so worked up you were unable to sleep, then ended up too exhausted on the day itself to really enjoy it. I was not. For your information, I was able to coast effortlessly through this big day on excitement alone. That's not the answer I was expecting, but it's very like you, I must confess. Still, the sea breeze at this time of year brings in colder air from the ocean, so I recommend that you return to your room. But what about you? This temperature is just right for me, so I'll be fine. Can I at least stay out and keep you company for a while longer then? I suppose. Just make sure you don't let the cold settle on you. All right, how about you hold me and then I won't be cold? I sidled up next to him, the light breeze rustling my hair. Unlike the night sky, brightened by the pale light of the moon and spangled with starlight, the sea was an unending sheet of darkness as far as the eye could see, an abyss one might be drawn into simply by gazing into it. So, what are you doing out here? I wish to do some thinking. About your home? Yes. He stood silently for a moment, as though considering what to say next. I don't believe I've ever told you about the katana I carry, have I? All I know is that it's very important to you. Indeed, it was bestowed upon me by my master when I was 14, during my coming-of-age ceremony. So it's a gift from him. It must seem strange. All this time I've tried to avoid speaking of him or even thinking about him, and yet I carry this memento with me everywhere I go. But in truth, this blade he gave me is what has allowed me to push onward through the challenges that have beset me. And it allowed me to keep you safe too, Spacey. In a certain sense, he's been by your side all this time. When we arrive in Japan, I intend to go visit him. His voice had lowered to almost a whisper, but I heard every word. For so long, I believe he had turned his back on me and abandoned me. But recently, I've been wondering if he didn't decide to play the part of the villain in order to protect me from the nobility. I want to hear whether my suspicion is right from my master himself. Akechi's expression showed that he was not fully rid of his hesitation, but the gloom that had before pervaded him when he spoke of his master was nowhere to be seen. And that, small though it may have seemed, filled me with much happiness. Still, I have you to thank for leading me to that realization. Me? And the more important someone is to you, the more you desire to keep them from harm, even if that should mean pushing them away from yourself. I found myself ruminating on the time you expressed your interest in visiting Japan and how I reacted then. As I recall, you said you were afraid you could not recommend that I actually go there, or something to that effect. As I mulled it over, I realized that both I and my master have an unfortunate tendency to choose our words poorly the more we care for another. Akechi sighed, realizing the similarities. You do? Yes, especially where it concerns you, Spacey. Akechi's gaze flitted to my face, settling there only briefly. Wow, I mumbled that. Before he looked back out at the sea. I didn't want you to see me in some vulnerable moment, or regard me with pity, and so I did my best to keep you at arm's length and distance myself from you. It was exactly that I was hoping to accomplish when I knocked your hand away that day in the school courtyard, too. Afterward, I constantly regretted what I'd done. If only I had simply apologized to you right then and there, you would have had nothing to feel uneasy about. Yet seeing you there with Holmes standing there beside you, all I could do was beat a hasty exit. A man's jealousy is an unsightly and fragile thing. Akechi gave me a weak smile. He looked so regretful, so sad that I couldn't help but contradict him. I don't think that's true at all. I was happy to discover that there was more to you than simply being strong and strict. It made me glad to find that you have a kind heart, even as you struggle with how to show it, and that you put forth considerable effort to keep anyone from finding that out. But it's because you are who you are that I wanted to be with you. You really are a kind-hearted young woman. I wish I could believe so. If I truly were kind, I wouldn't have caused you as much trouble as I have. No, that's because you're a derp. And all because I don't want you to walk out of my life, because I want to be by your side. Even so, I know that no matter how I try, I'll never be able to fit the Japanese ideal of what the ideal woman should be, with long black hair and everything. I trailed off, not knowing where to go from there, and Akechi looked at me with great puzzlement. Where does having black hair enter into this? But because it's your type. I'm afraid you're correct in that it would be impossible for you to transform yourself into the type of woman you're describing. I knew full well that he was correct, but the truth of it added all the more to the sting I felt. You don't have to say it. I'm not especially reserved or quiet. I can't sit in that uncomfortable-looking pose at... No, you misunderstand me. I mean to say that I have no desire for you to become like that. What? I like you perfectly well as you are, and I wish you to remain that way. Every fucking woman has ever just wanted this statement right here. Just said, I like you perfectly well as you are, and I wish you to remain that way. What? Oh, key to all men everywhere. This, just right here, this is all you have to say to me. Well, I mean, like, you could just stand to lose a few pounds. Like, I don't know, kind of like, you are beautiful as you are, and I just want you to stay that way. Whatever you want to do, I will love you no matter what. You want your hair to be red? I love it red. You want it black? I love it black. You want it to be blonde? I love it blonde. Short? I love it. Long? I love it. Just you. You're amazing. I love you. 100 pounds? I love you. 400 pounds? I love you. I just love you. You are just amazing. That's it. That's just fucking simple, motherfuckers. No. This is why some of us are going to die alone. Because we play these games, and it sets the unrealistic expectation. Like, no man is ever... Fuck. Anime boys. That's why we love them, right? Anyway, as he spoke, he took my hand in his. Look at how precious he is. Oh God, he's so pretty. It hurts. It hurts. He's so adorable. I like none more than you, a precarious nature and all. Please, there's no need for you to chase after some ebon-haired Japanese ideal of beauty. I won't allow you to disparage yourself so. And besides, Akechi gently ran his fingers through my long locks. I love your blonde hair exactly as it is, and I hope that you'll stay just as you are forever. Well, I mean, I'm gonna grow old. I'm just saying. He was so direct, so earnest that I was stunned into silence. Yet I wished to respond in some way to his declaration. Though nervousness beset me, I couldn't help but convey my feelings to him. Rationally, I knew I had little reason to worry. After all, Akechi was bound to accept what I said. After all, he was... You're just like the sea. What do you mean by that? What exactly do you mean by that? The sea is an existence with many faces. Sometimes the waves are rough and turbulent, but at other times calm and peaceful. But no matter what face it shows, it never ceases to be the sea. The sound of the gentle rise and fall of the surf envelops me with tranquility, exactly as I am. I love that about the sea. And I love you, Akechi. So adorable. My heartbeat seemed to thunder in my chest as my cheeks flushed with warmth. However, I had managed to confess to him my feelings and was convinced that, in his kindness, he would accept my words. Were I to respond in the same vein, I would liken you to the moon. Oh my God. This is so gaggingly adorable, I might vomit. Oh my God. It's like, oh, I feel, it's too cute. Oh, I got diabetes. Anyway, even amidst pervasive darkness, you cast your light, showing me the way. It is that light I see when I look at your beautiful hair. A strangely fitting metaphor it is too, for it's the moon that determines the rising and falling of the tides. I know, right? I kind of knew them. He's like, you're the moon. I'm like, oh God. I knew we were coming here. And just so, I've been pushed away and pulled in again and again, ever turbulent by my thoughts of you. That's a bit much. Shh, Spacey, shut up and enjoy it. While I understood the basis for his thoughts, I couldn't help but feel overwhelmed from being compared to something with the allure and mystique of the moon. I'd be like, yeah, because I'm awesome like that. No, I'm like Pluto. Pluto doesn't give a fuck. I'm just out there in my own little orbit. Woo! Doing some crazy shit. Planet, not a planet, planet again. Who knows? Whatever. And this is a certain Tunka from my homeland that sprang to mind just now. A Tunka? That was a style of Japanese poem, wasn't it? Only on the day that the moon shining in the distant heavens is no more, shall my love for thee fade. It's from a collection of poems known as the Manyoshu, compiled over 1,000 years ago. When the moon shining in the distant heavens is no more. To explicate, although the moon's phases change from day to day, and although it may go unseen in the light of day, it will never truly disappear from the sky. And so as the moon is ever changing, but eternally endures, so too shall my feelings for you. That's so fucking romantically beautiful. Oh God, my heart hurts. In other words, Akechi's hand rested on my cheeks, fingers slightly chilled to the touch from standing out on the deck. Yet the warmth of my cheeks was so great. I scarcely noticed. You're more dear to me than anyone. It's you who brings light to my world. My God. Oh my God. Oh, dear Lord. I can't handle these words. It's like eating those really spicy pepper. Like, oh, the burn. But it's the burning in my chest. Like, oh my God, my heart hurts. Oh, I think it might leap out. Oh God, I can't handle it. And as my moon, I'll never let that brilliant light be extinguished. I'll guard you with my very life. So I ask you, please place your trust in me. And take it not as some misguided, fatalistic desire, but simply as a statement of my dedication and determination. With a shy smile on his face, he pulled me closer to him. I was like, we're gonna get the kid. Yeah, finally, nobody cock-blocked us this time, guys. Then he kissed me. I accepted his affection as a feeling of serenity washed over me. My heart, on the other hand, showed no signs of slowing its rapid pulse. I couldn't help but wonder if Akechi felt it as well. And yet, with his hands on my cheeks and his lips pressed to mine, It felt as though he had embraced everything about me, that there was no shame or embarrassment between us. I wanted to give something back to him, the man who had given so much happiness to me. Given such happiness to me. I want to be by Akechi's side. I wish to spend more time in his company, to touch him more, to feel his warmth forever. But that's no wish to entrust to the stars. It's something I ought to gain through my own effort. After all, dreams and wishes aren't empty hopes one patiently waits to be fulfilled, but things one brings to fruition oneself. Just as he had embraced me, risking so much, I wanted to protect Akechi and his kind, pure heart. Beneath the soft light of the moon, surrounded by the lapping of gentle waves, I drew myself closer to him. The day to come would see us depart from Bombay, setting sail for Japan. What grand sights would I see there? What sorts of people might I meet? It was impossible to even speculate. The only thing of which I could be certain was that every sight, every custom, every moment would be wholly new to me, things I read of in books finally given shape. But where once that thought might have been cause for a feeling of uneasiness, now there was only excited anticipation. After all, I would have the person I loved most, who had ventured across this vast ocean, by my side. That feeling alone was enough to buoy my spirits. In that moment, all that the future might hold seemed to me dazzling and bright. Love poem, an excerpt from the Manyoshu presented together with his affections by Akechi. Oh, that's weird. The door to a new story, An English Lady in an Eastern Land, has been opened in the extras section, but we're not going to read it. Destined End. Of course it was. Anyway, so we're going to watch this little end thing, and then we'll look at his things. This is perfect. So normally we read the extra story, right? And then we do the bad ending. Right? God, I forget how we do this. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll do that, because normally we finish this and then we start reading that other last chapter. But now this is... Oh, that's right. This end is the same for everyone. I forgot it's the same for everyone, so... Sorry. We're not going to do his extra scene. We're going to go into the gallery. We'll check out his... I don't know if we have all of his... No, we're still missing some. But, wait. Okay, hold on. Oh, this one you can't click left or right. You just gotta do... Oh, right. Damn, that sucks. But, yeah. So, we'll read the other extra chapter in the next part, and then... If it's... long, that'll be its own part. Oh, he looks so mad. She's like, ah! Seriously demented there. Like, wow. Anyway. But yeah, if it's long, we will just leave it at that part, and then we'll do the bad ending. Otherwise, we'll start the bad ending. Oh. Shock face. Oh, he's so precious. There's, like, really none of just him by himself. I mean, yes, there kind of is, but, like... the look of shock on his face. He's like, wait, what the hell is happening here? Oh, that was it. I mean, that's, like, the perfect one. But, like... That's technically the perfect one. I think that's the one because that's his normal... That's his standard... That's the standard Akechi face. Standard Akechi face. Oh, it's just her face that changed. I was like, Isn't it weird? Like, you can see right here, like, her thing is a bee. What the hell is that? It's the Whitley house thing. Really? It's a bee. It didn't look like a key that time, but I swear I still think there's, like, it's what opens that door in the cellar. Hey, there's a weird door in our cellar, huh? Past that we just happen to go passing by in one thing. I'm assuming this is the recommended route order because Lupin and Jack's paths reveal a little bit more of the story, but We're not there yet. We still got at least another part to 2 parts of Akechi's route anyway. Because I think the bad ending is gonna... It might take a little while, I don't know. I love how they do this kind of like sideways, because if you realize you kind of have to tip your head. This is a sideways. You kind of have to turn your head like just completely on its side to actually see that the way it's supposed to be. It's really fucking odd how they do that. She's like, oh dear God, I'm touching a naked man. He's like, this could be awkward. Now hug him. He doesn't look nearly, he almost has the derp eyes. His eyes are like, wait a minute. What's going on? This is so pretty with a little starlight around them. That's actually really good. I mean, her eyes are still way too big. Close them a little bit, honey, and it would be so much better. But it's tolerable in this, at least. Because, like, look at how precious he is. Jesus. That's so much better because her eyes are closed. And then, yeah. Oh, wow. There's a lot of his that we're missing. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, so we'll do, I'm going to leave this here. We'll do the after story in the next part. And again, like I said, we'll see how long it is. If it's like at least a half hour to 40 minutes, then we'll just leave that as its own part. And then we'll go into the bad route, but we'll see what happens. So, and we'll see if we get our other CGs. I think some of them are unlocked in some of the other endings. Just because I know that, like, Holmes, we went through, we did everything of his. We still have one that's missing. So it could very well be in one of the other, like the Baker Street Boys ending or something. You know what I mean? Like, that could unlock. I don't know where it is. Like, we've made every choice, like, where there's really no reason to not have that CG. So, I don't know. But, we'll go through at the very end of the game once we've gone through and just check all the CGs and just see what we missed or whatever. So, anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.